Thank you all for joining us today, June 15th, 2023, for this Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. I'm Lisa Schipple. I will be serving as the chairman for today's meeting. The time is officially 5:30, and so I'm going to call the meeting to order now. We're going to do a roll call. Looks like we have a quorum. Everyone's here. Great. The next item on the agenda, next on today's agenda, we have approval of the meeting minutes from May 18th. I didn't do the pledge, but that was not here. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sorry about that. All right, next on today's agenda, we have approval of the meeting minutes from May 18th, 2023. Would anyone like to make a motion?
Motion to approve. Second.
Great. All those in favor of approving the May 18th, 2023 meeting minutes, raise your right hand. All right, those are approved. The next item on the agenda, do we have any items from the board? All right. Do we have any items from staff? Excellent. All right, I will call the first case. That is V2310, 890 Melbourne Trail. Michael Woodman will present the staff report and staff's recommendation.
Thank you, Chair and board members. The item before you this evening is a variance request to reduce a rear yard setback from 35 feet to 17.5 feet. The request is to accommodate a 315 square feet addition at the rear of the home for an in-law suite. Property, I do have the location map on the overhead. The property is located at 890 Melbourne Trail. This is the Headington Square subdivision. Property is about 3/4 of an acre, or a third of an acre. It's zoned R10. It's developed with a 1-story, about 2,000 square foot, single-family detached home. And there are some wetlands present on the front yard of the property. The Unified Development Code for the R10 zoning district requires a 25-foot rear setback. The Headington Square subdivision plat actually requires a 35-foot rear setback. So that's 10 feet larger than what's required by the zoning district. And the 35-foot setback is only required in this subdivision for properties adjacent to Rucker Road, as well as the properties that are adjacent to the Arrowwood subdivision, which is along the eastern boundary of this subdivision. All the other properties in this neighborhood, which is about 80% of the subdivision, has a 20-foot rear setback. On the overhead, I have the applicant's site plan. So this is the applicant's house here. And then this is the proposed 315 square foot addition on the rear of the property. The wetlands that I referred to are up here in the front yard of this property. So you can't do anything up in this area on this particular property. The proposed addition at the rear is 17.5 feet by 18. The applicant also provided this image, so a photograph of her rear yard with an image of the addition. So again, this is to reduce the rear setback, so between the rear property line and this addition. And that would go from 35 feet down to 17.5 feet. The applicant did notify the adjacent touching properties. There are 5 different properties that touch this property. 3 of the property owners did respond to the applicant, and they did not have any concerns. Applicant also notified the HOA. The HOA also did not have concerns with this request. Staff looked at the variance request against the review criteria for a variance, and we do believe, based on the unusual shape of the property, so you can see the shape of the property here, it's also located on a cul-de-sac, so on a cul-de-sac, the house is automatically pushed further back than regular properties or properties that are not on a cul-de-sac in a neighborhood. So due to the unusual shape and location on the cul-de-sac, as well as the presence of the wetlands in the front yard, we also looked at the proposed addition. We didn't think that it was excessively large. So we are supporting the applicant's request for variance to reduce the rear setback by 50%. And we did note that the 3 property owners, adjacent property owners that were notified did express no objection. So staff is recommending approval to Board of Zoning Appeals of this item, subject to 2 conditions. Condition 1, addition shall be permitted as depicted on the site plan labeled Exhibit A, which is the exhibit on the overhead before you, and with a 17.5 rear setback along the east property line. Condition 2, addition exterior shall match exterior of primary structure as approved by staff. And that concludes the presentation. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer those.
Thank you for your presentation. Does the board have any questions or discussion for the staff?
I just had one question. Did the other 2 have any objections, or they just didn't answer?
They did not respond to
Okay.
the applicant.
Okay, anybody else? All right, now we'll ask the applicant to come forward and make a presentation. When you approach the podium, please state your first and last name and your address for the record.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Natalia Correa. My address is 890 Melbourne Trail, Alpharetta, Georgia, 30009.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you for your time today. The addition is to, as Michael said, to build an in-law suite for my mom. So I'm originally from Colombia. I moved to the US in 2000 after school. I came as a student with a student visa. I was coming for 6 months, but I liked it so much that I stayed. So I went back to school for an MBA, and then I got a job at Kimberly-Clark, where I have been ever since. I went all the way through work visa, green card, citizen. So I've been a citizen since 2015. My dad passed away in 2018, and ever since we said, my sister also lives here in Atlanta, so we said, okay, we need to have a plan for when my mom needs more help. So she's in good health until now, but she's 79, so we all know it's a matter of when she will need to live with us. So we love the house, we love the neighborhood, we love to be in Alpharetta. We would like to stay in that house. We just need a little bit more space so she can have more independence and have her own space, so she can live with us. So I agree with the recommendation from Michael's team. I don't have any objections. I don't know if you have any questions for me.
Thank you, Ms. Correa, for the presentation. Does the board have any questions or comments for the applicant? All right. I'll open the floor for any public comment, but it doesn't look like there is any. Excellent. So would anyone like to make a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. Do I need to state? State the conditions.
You're gonna
What do I need?
Is your
You're gonna
motion
move to
subject to
approve
the
subject to
conditions
staff's
presented by
conditions.
staff?
Okay, I move to approve, subject to staff's conditions.
Do I have a second? Great. All those in favor? All right, it passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, at this time, we've finished all the hearing items on tonight's agenda. Are there any other items for the board? Nope. Okay, then I'm just going to announce that our next Board of Zoning Appeals meeting is Thursday, July 20th, 2023. We'll see you all there. The meeting is now adjourned.